We have proclaimed martial law in accordance with the powers vested in the President by the Constitution of the Philippines.
The tumultuous period of martial law brought about unspeakable horror of illegal detention and torture to those who were brave enough to express their strong opposition to the dictatorship.
Inimulis kami yung 99 pa yun. Lahat kami hinuli, pero ako lang ang inano nila dahil nga may warrant daw ako. Tapos yung paghuli sa akin, pinilipit yung ulo ko, sinubsob sa semento yung mukha ko, yung gano'n. Kung hindi ako nakilala ng Balay, galit ako sa kanila. Doon ko nakuha, doon na alis-alis yung galit ko, yung nakilala ko ng Balay, pinapalakas ako ng Balay. Iniisip ko kasi noon yung kipaglaban namin na mabigyan lang kami ng bahay. Malaki po na itulong ng Balay sa amin. Kung hindi dahil sa kanila, hindi rin ako malakas eh.
Access to legal assistance was not provided to these political prisoners. Many among them did not even know their basic rights as prisoners. Majority were abused by the military, using horrifying forms of torture, both physical and mental. To provide immediate assistance to them, the late Senator Jose Diokno set up the Philippine Center for the Treatment and Rehabilitation of Torture Victims, under the auspices of the Free Legal Assistance Group, or FLAG, in 1983. The center provided medical and legal services to ex-detainees, including income generation opportunities. It also documented cases of torture in order to develop a program that could help facilitate the ex-detainees' reintegration to society.
It was born at the peak of the Marcos years. It was in response to the indignities that human beings at that time suffered at the hands of the military. Some of those who managed to survive and to escape would go to Pepe Diokno to seek legal advice. Balay stands for a home. It's a home that you go to when you are in need of help. I was there for the medical needs, but more and more, it was human rights of human beings that were being stepped on that brought me.
A positive aftermath of the 1986 EDSA revolution was the release of thousands of political prisoners. However, those who were lucky to have been released from prison were paralyzed not only by the stigma of being imprisoned, but also by fear.
We focus on livelihood for the families left behind. It's about helping the families and the children especially for their education. The wives may be left behind to learn how to earn a living, and the ex-detainees will join out the family to earn a living for themselves. Of course, we try to help them financially, and at the same time, say, look for a place for them to get this thing started, like piggery, then sometimes tricycle driver. One time I went to Europe to see if we could secure some more financial help. But always then, we were always looking for money to carry out this program. And I suppose we still have to do that. We have, I think, Europe essentially, but we have Canadian help also, and American. And of course, the Filipino NGOs here were also very helpful.
Balay currently provides principled and holistic relief and rehabilitation to victims of human rights violations, regardless of creed, race, religion, and gender. In the war-torn areas of Maguindanao, Basilan, North Cotabato, Zamboanga del Norte, Davao Oriental, and Bukidnon, the name Balay has been synonymous with new hope for the evacuees.
Ang number one na isalasay ko sa'yo, yung nararanasan namin sa evacuation. Mula na kami maggubot dito, mahirap ang naranasan namin. Yung pag-massacre ng mga sityo namin, hindi namin po alam kung saan po kami tatakbo. Wala po kaming makakain. Mabigat masyado ang aming karanasan. Mula ng pag-alis namin dito, wala kaming mga ari-arian madadala. Dahil sa takot namin. Ultimo ang madala namin, ma'am, yung pamilya namin. Mabuti pa kung makadamit siya at hindi. Para makaapas na lang ang aming mga anak, ililigtas po namin.
Balay has developed and enriched its psychosocial rehabilitation work among the traumatized. It has defined key components that delineated its parameters of intervention.
Yung PRW kasi, malaki ang kaibahan niya doon sa practice ng psychosocial rehabilitation ng ibang mga organisasyon. Ang kaibahan niya kasi meron siyang 3 components. Kahit kasi ang Balay, prior to the PRW, ang ginagawa talaga ay yung tinatawag na curative component o yung healing component. Very internal. Pero ang PRW, maliban sa curative component, meron siyang preventive at saka proactive components. Patuloy pa rin ang Balay doon sa kanyang curative component, pero yung proactive at saka preventive components ay pinagpapatuloy niya sa pamamagitan ng advocacy work.
Balay's regional staff provide the day-to-day service provision to the IDPs or the internally displaced persons.
Balay had gained a deeper level of trust from the IDPs themselves. They had allowed us to really listen to the real experience of what really happened inside during the war. And that's very important for us being a psychosocial NGO. So for the success is that we're able to really connect with the real leaders in the community, which is very essential for the Moro culture. If you are able to win the hearts and trust of these leaders, then it's so easy for us to gain the trust of the whole community.
The people thought the guns would finally be silent in Pikit. For the last several months, there was relative peace in this town. There were no skirmishes between government troops and MILF forces. The 105mm mortars stationed at Fort Pikit were for once quiet. The people began to feel safe, not just physically, but also emotionally and psychologically. However, in February 8, 2003, the people observed another military buildup in the Ligwasan Marsh. They intended to attack Bulyok, the stronghold of the MILF. It started a day before a scheduled meeting of the Joint Ceasefire Committee that was supposed to peacefully resolve issues between the military and the MILF.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
During the Muslim feast of Eid al-Adha, the day of sacrifice, gunfire were heard in Barangay Bulol. Another war has started. 5 days of intense ground and air assaults that included mortar shellings and bomb droppings allowed the government troops to raise their flag of victory in Kabasalan. It also displaced thousands of civilians.